Okay, right. Good evening. Thank you all very much for coming to HR this evening. We'll crack straight on if that's okay. Apologies for absence, please.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, we have apologies for absence from Councillor Pete Barrow and Councillor David Gray. And Councillor Barrow is substituted tonight by Councillor Harris.
All right, thank you very much, Councillor Harris. Declarations of interest.
So we've had none notified, Chair, and no dispensations have been sought.
Have you all read your minutes of the last meeting?
Yes.
Those of you present, are you happy with those?
Yeah.
Can I get a proposal for? Yeah.
Sorry, the proposal was
Proposal is Councillor
Watley from the second.
Seconder. Councillor Northern.
And then just
Vote, please.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or
Right. Nobody against?
I'm abstaining.
Two abstentions. And I've just realised I didn't ask for a vote for the apologies of absence and the substitutions. So can I go back to that very quickly and get, I'll propose it. Somebody second? Tewkesbury, show of hands, please.
1, 2. Yes, we can have this.
Thank you very much. Councillor questions and statements. We don't have any other non-members of the committee here. Do we have any questions that we don't? We don't have any statements from anybody.
No, Chair.
Good. Any public questions received?
We haven't, Chair, no.
Lovely, thank you. Right, we come on to item 6, which is the report on the real living wage and SCP grades. Do you want to present this?
Happy to, unless did anybody else wish to? I can run you through it. So, as councillors are aware, Weymouth Town Council is a real living wage employer. We are committed to, at the minimum, pay the real living wage. This campaign started back in 2001, and it's now voluntarily paid by more than 8,000 UK businesses, of which we are one. The real living wage rates are higher than the statutory national minimum wage, which is now known as the living wage. It's currently £9.50 for adults aged 23 and over, and the real living wage is now at a rate of £10.90. The £1 increase is in line with the proposals recommended by the local government national pay negotiations. Members will be aware that the pay negotiations continue, and the proposed level is for an additional £1 per hour. Consultations are still ongoing with the unions, and we anticipate knowing before Christmas, but as with these negotiations, it can be very difficult to predict when we're going to have an outcome. The reason we're bringing this before you tonight, Chair, is just to confirm real living wage status. It might be something that members wish to discuss, but also because the real living wage isn't aligned to one of these specific NJC spinal column points, we'd like you to consider whether all staff should be aligned to a specific SCP so that everybody falls within the spinal points covered by the National Wage Agreement, or whether you wish to retain the pure real living wage. The impact assessment is in front of you, and the recommendations are to confirm that we continue as a real living wage employer and agree to align all staff to a specific NJC spinal scale point. And I'm hoping, Ian, you've got a list of existing NJC points and can tell us the pence difference between.
Yeah, it is the next scale point up would be an increase on the 1090 up by 16 pence. It goes from, will go from 1090 to 1106. So the we've got 4 full-time members of staff on the real living wage at present, and the increase would equate to roughly £280, I think it's a miracle, a year increase, so £1,000 increase over the board.
Does anybody have any comments on that, please?
So the real living wage for 2022 to 2023 is £10.90, but the number which we're making sure the real living wage is more than is what number? The minimum wage is what?
So
Minimum wage is in the report, it's £9.50 currently.
Is that for 2022 or 2023?
just to confirm, Councillor Norton, when we talk about 22-23 real living wage figure, it's a bit, I say a bit misleading because they always do their figure prior to any uplift of the minimum wage, which happens in April every year. So they've released it early, so that's why it sort of says 22-23. It would normally be released around November time, they've brought it forward. So the figures, the minimum wage is £9.50, which will be reviewed in April 2023. The real living wage has been reviewed early. It's normally done before the minimum wage, and it went from £9.90 to £10.90. I'm not too sure that answers the question.
So it's about £1.40 more.
At present,
Okay. And what we're proposing is that it goes up by a further 20 pence to align with the spine position. Did you say £11.10?
it will be £11.10.
That's a lot of money for the number of people we're talking about. would be my comment.
It's a relatively small number of people. Yeah,
Yeah, just to say, with inflation as it is, you know, I just would not be against that. I support the recommendation.
I'd like to second that.
you're proposing, are you? Yeah,
Well, I wasn't, but I will.
okay, you propose.
I'll second.
That's,
Yeah, I just wanted to put a proposal for just to say that the reason we're asking that instead of being beholden to the pounds and pence real living wage figure, that we go to the next appropriate SCP scale is to ensure that all of our staff then benefit from the joint negotiations on pay in the future and that no one is left behind. And that the proposal is in future, when we recruit to new positions, when we recruit new member of staff, everyone will be on an SCP above real living wage rather than the real living wage itself. It ensures that none of our staff are left behind in the joint negotiations. Thank you, Chair.
and it makes life very much easier, doesn't it, in terms of the process and everything. So if you see your papers, you've got 3 points there. So one is confirm that we continue as a real living wage, and I think we need a vote on that.
If you wish, you can take both together, Chair.
Right, so we're confirming that we're a real living wage employer and that we are going to align all staff to the specific NJC spinal scale point, and that's what you're proposing, Jan. That's what you're seconding, Mark.
Can I just think about whether we should amend that to say a specific NJC spinal point, scale point, just above the living wage pay,
Well,
to clarify.
we won't be aligning all staff to
No,
the
no.
spinal point just above living wage, because I think
No, yeah.
all people in the room might
Yes.
have a slight objection to that. But all staff what we're saying is that all staff will be on a scale point rather than an arbitrary figure in between.
Yeah, I understand that, but I want to make sure that that scale point is above
Yeah.
the living wage rather than any old scale that could be below it. It doesn't make it clear in what we're agreeing to that it's the first point above.
And that's absolutely spot on. That's how it's in reality.
Yes, I know it's what you wanted to do. I think we ought to say that that's.
We need to adjust the words so that we're absolutely sure what it is we're trying to achieve.
To the next scale point above the
Yeah.
real.
Which is what I think you said
Oh, yes,
in
it
the
is.
text, but we need to say it in the recommendation.
Specific scale, agree to align all staff to a specific NJC scale point.
Which must be above the national living wage.
Yeah.
Yes, and that doesn't matter how many above it, some people will be, 5 or 6 points above it.
Okay. Happy with that now?
Yeah.
Okay, can I have a show of hands?
That is unanimous, thank you.
7, employment of seasonal staff. Is this your
So as members may recall, earlier this year, we decided to trial bringing seasonal staff in-house. So previously we have recruited through an agency. We've trialled it for 1 season, so it's predominantly been resort staff, so staff based within the catering team, within the resort, within the beach control team and the cleansing team. Through bringing them in-house, we've managed to create a saving of circa 25,000. It is slightly higher, however, we do need to, at the moment, it is a slightly higher saving, but we do need to take into consideration annual leave that's been accrued, so it will drop down to around 25k. It has taken up a little bit of staff time, so admin and finance staff will be about half a day, an additional half a day a month it's taken up. So there is staff time associated to this, but overall it has been a success, and talking to other managers and members of staff that have been involved in that process, they are pleased with how it's gone, and so it's easier to manage through both recruitment and management of contracts. So the recommendation in front of you is to approve that all casual staff continue to be employed on a variable hours contract.
So is it a 1 year's worth of variable contract? Because in the following year, I'd like new people to have an opportunity to apply. I do like the idea of cutting out the agency fees. That seems a very sensible thing. So could you just confirm that it's a 1-year contract?
Absolutely. So all the seasonal staff that are employed, as soon as they leave, we do terminate their contracts
Yeah.
for various reasons. So it does give everyone the opportunity. It's something myself and Liz are working on with predominantly Will and Joe in payroll to look at to ensure that
That's good. It's a Weymouth tradition that people work in those roles and move on to other things.
And I'm assuming that as that system gets more embedded, it will actually, you expect it to be half a day and it's been more. I'm assuming that it will actually, you'll get better at it, and it will start taking less time. Not that I object anyway, but
Yeah, I think a lot of it's the paperwork side. So new starters putting onto the systems, that's the side of it that we didn't think would take as much as long.
Yeah.
Especially with some of those staff that don't last, very long. So there's those issues. But I think it has got fast, hasn't it? I think the scheme are getting more used to it. It isn't more embedded the next year. We've learned a lot this year.
yes.
I think the employing department, sorry, Chair, they're getting more aligned to what paperwork they need up front. So rather than sort of chasing, they've got a lot more efficient. So as we have gone on, we've actually got quite more efficient in terms of the processes we've got.
David Harris, did you?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else got any questions?
Sorry, the duty of care shifts a little bit by having them as employees compared with being agency staff. I was going to raise later on the need for performance objectives for all staff. Is it appropriate that these staff should also have those, or shall I raise that later?
I'm happy to answer. And just correct me if I'm wrong in this. But with regards to the variable hours contracts that are parts within them and review their performance, the performance management side is very different to it is for a permanent member of staff. It would be a lot more flexible and not so rigid in our approach, I'd say, in our paperwork side of things. But it is there, and we do. It's more of a touch-based 5-minute conversation.
Of course, yeah.
And in the summer season in Weymouth, it's unlikely to extend beyond 6 months, and 6 months will be within a probation period each year anyway, which has more close and careful monitoring in it than a normal.
I'm guessing really we're a small organisation, and we're working on that basis for that one council, So even these, you know, 1-year contract or 6-month contract in effect, that we've got the same ethos. We want everybody to take that pride in working for Weymouth Town Council and be part of the team, even if they're only here for a little while. Some youngsters will go off to university and very well may come back to us. So, you know, we want that whole work ethic of being part of a team. Yeah. Do we have a recommendation? We've got recommendation. Councillors are asked to approve that all casual staff continue to be appointed on a variable hours contract. Can I have a proposer, please? Mark, seconder, Dave Northern. Show of hands. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Right. Information items. Who's reporting?
I'll read if that's okay, Chair.
Please.
To run you through the information items, wellbeing. Last month, the senior leadership team had a brunch event to bring everyone together to mark that from September, all new Town Hall office-based staff will be working in the office on Tuesday. That was very successful, led on to a lot of discussions about additional team building events, making sure that all of our staff know each other. From that, discussions around making sure that there are opportunities for councillors and staff to get together. So it's something that is being looked into, and Charmaine is leading on that work if councillors have any questions.
Yeah, well, you did say at one time that you were going to try and produce a pictorial.
So Helen Legg's leading that piece of work, and I think she's 90% there with photos, but it's been quite challenging to get everybody's photo. But she's almost completed that piece of work and recirculated.
We thought we may have to resort to artists' impressions, but I think Helen's been quite good at pinning people down and getting photos from them.
Sarah was in a meeting the other day and I didn't recognise her. And then she walked past me on the Esplanade and I did recognise her.
So, yeah, I think, you know, because of the way that we've been working in the last couple of years, really, it's been very difficult, which is one of the reasons why I thought it was really important. Are pictures of all the councillors included in that mock-up?
They're all on the website.
I'm just I've worked in 1 or 2 places. You may not like this idea, but I've worked in 1 or 2 places where there's been sort of just inside the foyer or something. Big picture, just mugshots really, of every member of staff and every elected member, so we can all see each other. Because I think it's really important that we recognise each other. They certainly don't want members intruding upon them when they're having a drink in the Red Lion or something. But it's, you know, if somebody is smiling at you in a friendly fashion, you don't want to think that they've got ulterior motives. They are just acknowledging that, you know, we sort of know each other, we work for the same team. So it's that sort of thing that I think, but you know, other members may not like that idea. Members of staff may not like that idea, but I'm very happy for people to recognise me and say hello.
It would be very easy to include councillors because we have all your
You've got all our
photos on the website anyway.
Good or otherwise, you've got all our photos. Okay, but, work experience.
Yeah, so we had our first successfully completed work experience. You will recall when we first discussed it at this committee that there was a payment of £1,000 per student. Unfortunately, that stopped. We weren't eligible for it because of the dates for this last student we had, and it's not going to be available in the future. However, this is not going to affect our aim of having at least 3 work experience students a year. It was quite a positive experience for us, an extremely positive experience for them. They were very keen on staying on and working for us. Unfortunately, we didn't have any roles available at the time, but we will be bearing the person in mind should we do in the future. And so just to update you that the £1,000 is not a consideration anymore, but it's not going to affect our plans to carry on, Chair.
That's excellent. Excellent. David?
Can I ask how long the work experience students have with us?
So it's 10 days,
Okay.
and that can be worked flexibly. So with
Could
our
be every
last,
Monday or,
yeah, with our last work experience student, they did 5 weeks of Mondays and Tuesdays, but there's nothing, particularly in the off season when we couldn't offer a 2-week block. But what we did do is put together a 10-day programme that enabled them to experience working in the office, both in the central team and for the parks admin team, going out with parks, going out with the beach, spending some time at the cafe to give them a good flavour and a good broad range of experience to sort of try and help them find where their sort of niche is in life.
What's the age group, age range that we're looking at for these work experiences? Are they
16 to 18, I
Right,
think,
okay.
but because of some of the nature of some of our work, we have to adjust if they are under 18 or over 18, particularly with parks and something like that.
So these are all still attending school or colleges, aren't they? Can we have a conversation? We don't need to have it now, but can I have a conversation with you or someone about the possibility of us offering this service to Sir Samuel Myco and getting them to sponsor those young people? I guess because that's exactly what they're there for. So if somebody can remind me, I'll have that conversation.
When we have our next catch up, I'm sure either you or I will remember. Sharon.
Well, I'm not sure that I will, so if you can remind me.
I'm going to write myself a note.
I'll write
When
my-
I find out when we're
I'll
next
write
meeting.
myself a note, but whether whether
Just
I'll
get
be able to
involved in
find the note is another matter.
I've written it on my to-do list for when we're next meeting.
Lovely, that's great. When we can have that discussion, that would be terrific. Recruitment update?
So in advance of the staffing update item in the confidential session of the agenda, we just wanted to bring you some of the recruitment updates. We've recruited a catering apprentice there in post, doing very well from what I hear. We've successfully recruited a replacement project officer, and the successful applicant will be starting in post on the 1st of November. I think I'm right in saying interviews were held today for the senior resort officer, being held tomorrow for the senior resort officer. Friday. At some point this week, we'll be holding the interviews for the senior resort officer. Communications and marketing assistant, you'll be aware that Sophie has left the council. That role is out to advert and the closing date is the 24th of October. That is a really good little role for someone looking for an entry-level position, particularly, I'm talking to our watchers on YouTube at the moment, particularly anyone who may be younger, looking to start out, wants to work in digital communications, doing social media, as well as elements of marketing and promotions. Lovely little job. Do have a look on our website if you are interested. And we also have a community development officer post out to advert as well. The closing date for that is the 1st of November. We anticipate both of those being well received, because both of those are quite nice little jobs, and obviously working for the council brings a number of benefits, including the excellent wellbeing and support package, the pension package, generous leave, that sort of thing. If anybody would like a conversation about any of those roles, do just give the office a call. So that is just a very quick snapshot before we move on.
Excellent.
Can I just ask about the senior resort officer? I know we've got 2 at the moment, haven't we?
So at the moment, we've got Will Holmes is the resort manager,
Yeah,
and he's supported by 1 permanent member of staff as a senior resort officer, and there's another person that's currently on a secondment into that or stepping up into that post to help cover the season following a vacancy after somebody left early on in the year. So it's external recruitment process, but no one's permanently in that post.
okay, thank you.
Anybody else got any questions there?
how many applicants did we have and how many are we interviewing?
I'm not sure how many applications there were, but there's 4 people being interviewed.
Any other questions on recruitment? Thank you. actions from previous meetings.
Just to update you on the
Yeah.
actions from previous meetings, where we are, Chair.
Can I just say, it's in a red at the moment, and I understand why, the skills audit. I have to say from the outset that I haven't done my skills audit, and I know that not many people have. So it's on the back burner really. But when resources allow, I'd be really keen for us to do that, because there's a real wealth of experience and knowledge within members that we need to know about, because we might need to tap into that experience and knowledge at some time. So if you get another request, please don't put it at the bottom of your in file. Have a quick look at it if you can. Be good. Thank you.
And then the forward plan.
Forward plan. Is everybody happy with the look of that forward plan? Is there anything that you feel that we should be looking at, David?
It's probably more related to the actions.
Okay.
There was a digital action in there. One query that I've raised recently is we use Magic. We use Magic, which is a GIS tool that holds the assets, maps of all the assets. And I was asking who in the council can manipulate that, because I'd like to use that person in some of the neighbourhood plan stuff. Which I may not have, sorry.
Yeah, no, so I know we do need to get back to you on that one, and with Sophie leaving, it has created a little bit of a gap, but we will I'll update you outside.
And I may have found a temporary solution.
Good, thank you, David. Okay, Shannon. Right, so you just need to note all of that information. Can I trust that you've all noted it? Thank you. Next item 9, is to exclude the press and the public, which I am duly doing. But we also need to switch off our recording now, don't we?
It needs to be a vote.
Yes. So
Once we've had the vote, should members agree to exclude the press and the public, then we'll put the cameras on.
so I'm proposing that we exclude press and public and switch off the camera. Can I have a seconder, please? James Harris. Can I have a show of hands? No, Mr. Chair. Right, thank you. Right, we will now